Hey, Kayla.
Hi, Iyanna.
Welcome to Fill in the Blank podcast.
Welcome.
Fill in the blank.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week here at Fill in the Blank podcast.
Fill in the blank.
Hi, Iyanna.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Are you rejuvenated?
No. Yes, and no. I was mad that I had to leave, but
Okay, what's the no first of why
the
you're
no
not?
is just because I probably could have stayed for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, my parents were at some point trying to convince me, not during this trip, but have in the past, try to convince me to just move back home. And as much as I don't know. I actually like being around people now. I hate being alone. Not that I hate being alone. It's just it's boring.
Yeah. You'd rather be around people than be
Even if
alone.
I'm alone around people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, I totally get that. That's my favorite form of being around people.
Perfect being around people. I just want people in the vicinity, but leave me alone.
Yeah. You can just sit and do nothing and just be there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of.
You enjoyed that
I
part of
enjoyed
it.
that. I enjoyed that.
So when your parents were, well, you said it wasn't this trip, but would you consider going back?
I would.
You would.
Now I would. I just don't. I don't want to. I want to take the people out of Atlanta. I don't want to move back. I don't want to move back to Atlanta. It's just not the same. Atlanta's not the same, man.
Do you want them to come here? Or you want to go somewhere else?
I would just want to go somewhere else. I miss trees, man.
Man, I'm feeling it.
And that's why that 12-hour drive was so therapeutic, because there were trees. It was just nature. And that was also just
yes.
I just loved it. I heard birds chirping every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, man.
Isn't that beautiful?
I missed it.
That's the reason why I like the suburbs so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Now that the weather is breaking and it's getting nice outside, I'm like, dang,
all right, Kayla.
I miss the suburbs, because I used to wake up at my Nana's house and just go sit outside and
just be out there.
Yeah.
That's what I miss.
I'm ready to move. I'm ready
to move too.
I'm ready to skedaddle.
There's nothing else for me here other than you.
Let's go.
And Natalie.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm ready now.
We can leave.
At first I was like, no, I might stay another 2 years.
No, I'm ready to leave Chicago. Seriously, very shortly after Marcus and I get married, we are blasting up out of here.
All right, let me know where we going.
I told you. Charlotte. That's the move.
I gotta visit first, Kayla. I gotta visit
Charlotte
first,
is the move. I mean, unless we go somewhere else that is magically better, but...
Magically better?
Yeah. I mean, fill in the blank family. If y'all have any suggestions of places that are not like Chicago to move to,
I'm like, what
please
other place
recommend.
could there be that have the balance of city but also nature?
I hear good things about Seattle.
I was just about to say Seattle,
but I can't do the gloominess. That part's depressing.
It made me so depressed.
Yeah, that part is really depressing. That's what I'm trying to kind of get away from with Chicago in the wintertime. How depressing that is.
Yeah.
Okay, but what were the good parts of the trip? I mean, you kind of talked about it
Everything
a little bit.
else.
Everything else.
I mean, the bad part was having to leave. The good parts, everything was good.
How's Sebastian?
Sebastian's much better.
Oh, that's great. I've been waiting for an update about Sebastian.
He by the time I left, his poops were getting more solid.
Oh, yes.
And his butthole stopped looking like a target. So
yes.
Yeah. And he's had to stop wearing the diapers, which is also because he was mad about them diapers.
Oh my gosh. Is your dad gonna stop feeding him human food?
Let's hope so. Look, let's hope. They both overindulge in food. So
find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. The world may never know. I'm so weak.
Yeah. So let's hope.
Yeah.
How's your fast going?
It's going. So I've been doing pretty good. I've kind of found that with this fast from television and alcohol holistically, the weekend I did have a drink. I will say I had a drink, but I'm not overindulging in alcohol, and I'm not turning to it as a source of, oh, I'm stressed, I'm about to have a drink. So I was out to eat. So I was like, okay, like, so I had one. But with the TV thing, it's been good because I've been reading.
You did say you've been reading.
Yes, I've been reading. So in my spare time, I've just been trying to like really be present with myself. And I think that's why, like what we were just talking about on the couch before we came in here, like the heaviness and it's just because I'm really sitting with my emotions a lot more than I have. So I've just been kind of like on recluse mode. And
bro, we can't be the only ones going through this. Me and Kayla were talking about this and how literally everything just feels so overwhelming right now. I'm in a constant state of either like wanting to avoid everything or just like being immersed in it and just still being wildly overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. So it's been quite a lot, to say the least. But, you know, I feel like I've been making it through. I feel like I'm like learning how to ride the wave of whatever this is that's going on right now. So
that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do.
Man, I really feel like I'm on a surfboard.
Bruh, trying to make it. I be like this. I'm like,
yeah.
You can't see me.
Recluse mode.
You can't. I don't exist.
Not the blanket.
I don't exist.
I'm so weak.
I took legit a 4-hour nap today.
And
I was so confused when I woke up. I said,
"Yeah, that's what happens when you sleep for that long. You wake up confused. Where am I?"
I was like, "What's happening?" And then I thought I was still home, so I woke up even more confused. Like,
yeah, you were back in Chicago.
Scary
sight.
Yeah, I was like,
scary sight.
My God,
that's so funny. Yeah. But on the bright side, I graduate this weekend.
Woo!
So I'm very excited about that.
That woman's on some grown woman things.
Man, run me this degree.
Come on, give me my shit.
I've been posting on my story every time I see something on TikTok of like how to cross the stage. I be posting. I'm like, this is how I'm
you
about
got
to cross
ideas?
the stage.
Do you have? Are you gonna actually do something? Or are you? Just
I'm
like,
not. I'm just playing. But I want to. If my parents weren't who my parents were, I would. I feel like I still get in trouble if I do some crazy stuff.
I'm trying to think what I probably would. My parents would. Oh my God, I am.
Right. My parents would be like, embarrassing us. So no, I'm not gonna embarrass my parents on my graduation day. I'm gonna be good. But I'm gonna cut up after. That's what I'm gonna do.
As you should.
That's what I'm gonna do.
As you should.
So yeah. But to get into the topic, because we could sit here and just chit chat for how long? Forever. So we're gonna talk about a topic that may be heavy for some and try to like just shed some Iyanna.
Sorry, that Nando's is coming back to me.
Iyanna's gassy, guys. But we're trying to shed some light on this topic of Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because Mother's Day can be really great for some. Mother's Day can be really sad for others. Mother's Day could be a indifferent
just another
experience.
Day. Yeah.
So we just want to talk about our experiences with Mother's Day, our relationship with motherly figures and mothers that we've had in our life, because I know we have two kind of different stories on where we've come from. And then Asia's going to chime in because she herself
is a mother. She's a mother.
She is a mother. She out here somebody mama, y'all. So yeah, but what has been your experience? How do you feel that Mother's Day is coming up?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I think Mother's Day is always, well, I won't say it's always been just another day. I think when I was a kid, I was really excited about Mom's Day. I was really excited about Mother's Day.
What day? Whose day?
And then growing up with my cousin, I think it kind of just became something that really wasn't that big of a deal. Because I remember I went all out for her for Mother's Day once, and I bought her this necklace that said like mom on it. She was like, I'm not your mom. Because she wanted to keep a very clear line. Because she's technically like my second cousin. She's my mom's first cousin. And so she always wanted, but I think it just always came off as like kind of dismissive. And so I just like stopped caring about the day. Yeah. And now I have my adopted mom, but she's more like my older sister. So it's just like, okay. But I still tell her like, Happy Mother's Day. Like, thank you for, taking me under your wing. Thank you for being such a good influence on my life. But I don't really celebrate it.
Yeah. Mother's Day feels like impending doom every year. Yeah. Like doomsday. It's just too much for me. Like, my mom's birthday is a couple days after Mother's Day all the time.
Oh, that is
They
a lot.
fall back to back. So my mom's birthday is on the 16th, and then Mother's Day is it the 12th every year? I don't know, but whatever that Sunday is when it always comes right before her birthday. So it's just not a good time. And then this year, it's really frustrating because I graduate the day before Mother's Day and I can't celebrate my accomplishment because of Doomsday.
I mean, you
can.
So,
but
I think you can. I think you should in a way that's like in honor of your mom.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get some things together now, but I think that I was just feeling super heavy about it because I knew that it was the day before Mother's Day. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it is heavy.
Like, I'm going to be irritated. The next day, I'm going to have to get up and go celebrate Mother's Day. Like, that's irritating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know I wanted to take the opportunity to tell people, you know, the story because people have asked me about my mom and how about like her passing and how I've coped, how I grieve and all of that. So for one, my mom passed away when I was 14 years old. I was in the 8th grade. She had colon cancer and she passed away fairly quickly after we found out, because once it was found, it was in stage 4 and everything just moved like super fast. So when I was in 8th grade, I just didn't deal with it.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember I went back to school right after she passed away, a few days after Thanksgiving. I went back to school and then I was just like, yeah, we're going to just pretend everything is normal here. So I don't think that reality really set in for me until I got to college. I feel like I was super panicky about it in high school because my life transitioned so much. I moved in with my father from living with I was at the time living with my mom and my grandparents. And then I had to move in with my dad and my stepmom, who I did not have that great of a relationship with at the time. So that was very heavy for me. But I had so much focus on trying to cope with my new living arrangements that I couldn't cope with the fact that my mom was gone.
It's a distraction.
Yeah, it was really a distraction. Like, I had to worry about that. Like, I don't like these people.
Because that's a lot.
And I have to be here every day.
That's a lot.
So that was quite a lot. And then when I went to college, that's when the grief.
You didn't have a choice at that point. It's like you're by yourself.
Man, that thing was beating me up when I got to college. I remember one day I was sitting in my car. I went to my car. I don't know what was going on, what triggered me, but I vividly remember being in my car and just having a breakdown, and I was just hysterical in my car. And so I feel like it's kind of hard for me to say how I've dealt with grief because I think everybody deals with it differently depending on who you are. I don't think
a long thing.
It is, and when it is a passing as serious as a parent, you are like. I saw people kind of get irritated with me when I made the comment before about like some things you can't fully heal from. But I do believe that there are just some things that are just going to always sting. You know, it's going to impact you. It's going to change you.
Death,
yeah, it'll just change you. Like, those things are just like, especially the type of relationship I had with my mom, and we were best friends. I just will never get over that. You never get over it. I was just crying about it the other day because I'm thinking about all these special moments that are coming up, and she's not going to be physically here for any of them. And it's just like, you don't just get over that.
You're constantly aware of that absence.
Constantly aware. Every day since my mom has passed away, I have thought about her since I was in the 8th grade.
Yeah.
So since 2009, I have thought about my mother every single day. Not a day has gone by.
Yeah.
So it just feels heavy, like, to celebrate Mother's Day, to be present with other people and be happy about, you know, Mother's Day with them when you are suffering an immeasurable loss still. Like,
how did you celebrate before college? Like, did you celebrate Mother's Day? Because I know that had to be complicated, especially with you living with your dad and your stepmom.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mother's Day is always kind of planned out for me, as it is this year too. It's always planned out because my family is super on top of things like that. So when it comes to holidays and all of that,
very celebratory.
Yeah, and it's very traditional. Like, we're gonna go out to eat or we're gonna get together, you know. So it was just that every year. Like, I'm obligated to be at these places, you know, to celebrate with my family. And I love the other motherly figures that I have in my life, and I would love to celebrate them, but it just is impossible to ignore the fact of how heavy it is to celebrate other mothers when yours is not there.
Yeah. And I would imagine this year is probably just even harder because of the fact that, like, there's so many life things going on. You being engaged, about to get married, and with you graduating and her not being a part of all of it.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of over it. This mother, like, and sometimes it shifts, you know, like some years it's not like impending doom like it is on other years. But this year especially, it feels real heavy, and I'm just like not looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But I am happy that my aunt is going to be in town. So that makes me feel a little like excited because I'm going to hang out with my Nana and my aunt. And that will make me feel closer to my mom, being around.
So this is your aunt from your mom's side. Okay.
So being around family that is connected to my mother helps me to kind of cope and deal.
I love that.
Yeah. So that is my brief story about that. I mean, there's so much more that I could go into detail about. And as we continue the conversation, other stuff will, I'm sure, come up. But for you, what has it been like trying to celebrate Mother's Day when you've had so many different mother figures that you have felt connected to, then not felt connected to? And
no, I've always felt connected to them. It's just a matter of, like, these relationships just don't seem to last. I think the hardest part about my childhood was probably being from home to home to home.
Yeah.
Because you think these people are supposed to be in your life forever I experienced grief in a different way where I didn't experience like an actual death or loss. I mean, it was a loss, but no actual death. Like, my mom is still alive. My biological mom is still alive. She's just not capable of being a good mom because of just her own stuff and the fact that she has mental illnesses. But I mean, you know, over the years I've just gotten numb to it. I think my go-to has always been to just be apathetic about it. It's like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to a point where I actually mean it. Like, I don't really care. Like, it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, growing up, I just loved my mom. I always loved my mom. And so any form of celebration to her was always a big thing for me. And just, I was happy to do it. It wasn't until I got older and I saw her for the person that she is that I started to see the darkness and the holes. It's like, you're kind of not that good of a mom.
When your parents start to lose their capes and you don't look at them like superheroes,
and
how
they're
you once did.
Yeah. And it's like, understanding who your parents are can either drive an even further wedge, or it can make you closer to them. Yeah. So understanding my godparents for the people that they are drew me closer to them because I saw them for their humanity.
Yeah.
Seeing my mom that way though it was a huge wedge because I was just like, I had to make the decision of like, you're not healthy for me. You're not healthy in my life at all. So I had to completely detach in a way, which is uncomfortable to do, especially when you got family members like, but that's your mom, like it's your mom. I'm like, okay, and
you're like, whatever,
she's not healthy.
Yeah,
she's not
but
healthy
I think
all.
that you do a really good job at that, Iyanna, because a lot of people, including myself, have a difficult time, especially when it comes to family, to set up boundaries like that, to be like, regardless of family or not, like if you do not mean me well and you're not healthy for me and my growth and my development, I can't allow you to be so close, you know, in my life to impact me in that way.
I will say though, this wasn't my choice at first. I was about to say it's their fault. It's their fault. But this is the wedge that they've created for themselves, because showing up for me as a kid didn't really look very good. And now all of a sudden, as I'm an adult, they expect me to show up for them. And I'm like, but you didn't show up for me as a child, so why should I be expected to, just because you were family.
Right.
I was like, no. I have a chosen family.
Yeah.
But like my bio family, I don't consider them family. They're just like, to me, this is bad, but like they feel like an obligation. So I feel like I have to speak to some of my family members because, again, they're family, simply because they're family, not because they're good for me, not because I love them or because they love me. Like, it's none of that. It's simply obligation.
Yeah.
Now my chosen family, that's different.
Yeah.
That's completely different, which is why I don't mind telling my godmom, like, oh my God, thank you so much for like taking me in and like being such a good motherly figure, well, sisterly figure, but nonetheless, well, because we're only 10 years apart.
No, it's so true though.
We're only 10. Like, it's weird. It's a weird dynamic though, because my dad is my dad. My dad is always my dad, but then
that's his wife.
And it's like there's Jennifer. Jennifer's like and people are like, Iyanna, why would you say that? She's probably really hurt by that. No, she's not. No, she's not. She's
like, I get it. I understand this dynamic.
That's why I'm like, we get it. We found our own weird little family dynamic.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, my thing with Mother's Day has always been a bit complicated.
Yeah. I mean, I've felt that complication a lot on the end of my stepmom.
Yeah.
Because our start to our relationship was not the best.
Yeah.
We have just recently gotten into a good space.
Is it all recent?
It's very recent.
I didn't know that.
It's recent, like maybe 3 years ago recent.
Oh, wow. So this is pretty new.
Yeah, I got into a good space with her when me and my dad got into a better space too. So we all got into a good space.
Your dad, I would imagine
time.
your dad was the bridge.
Yes. So I think that it's been difficult because even during the time span when we weren't like, we didn't have the best connection, I still felt she was a mother to me in her own way, but it was so hard for me because I could not cope with the loss of my own mother to accept the way that she was trying to mother me because they're very different.
Yeah.
My stepmom is very much like provider. Let's get to the nitty gritty. What do you need me to do? Ride or die. That is her. Like, she don't care. She's like, I'll pull up in who and what. And And my mom was like, sweet as pie. What do you need? Let me bake you some cookies. Like, lay down. I'll take care of you. So I had such a hard time accepting my stepmom because she was not that image.
She wasn't your mom, yeah.
And I was just like, well, this isn't what a mother is supposed to look like, you know? So it took me getting older and me like being able to understand her.
as a person.
Yes.
I told you. It only bridge a gap or make you closer.
Yes. I had to really understand her and accept her for who she was and realize like, okay, she's never going to be this, but she was never meant to be this. She's meant to be her in her own way. And so now I can feel more comfortable to like accept her as a motherly figure in my life, like as a second mom. And that's been something that's been very hard for me because
that's a journey.
Man, I've never wanted to feel as though I'm replacing my mom.
Yeah.
So it's always that battle between like honoring the mother that I have versus honoring the mother that has passed on.
Do you think it's always important to just like simply hold space to who your mom was? Like always? Yeah.
Literally always. And I think especially because of my mom and dad's relationship not being good and my family's never getting along and they don't hold much space of recognition for my mom or her existence or how it has impacted me. And so I think it has made me very kind of stubborn and reluctant.
I bet even more protective.
Yes, I'm super protective and it did make me very good at compartmentalizing. Like, showing up as different parts of myself in different places because I knew like the Kayla that is connected to her mother cannot show up fully in this space. Like this space is meant for dad's side of the family and this space is meant for mom's side of the family. Yeah.
Do you think that's going to impact you just like how complicated your family dynamic is between both sides?
Look at my face.
Do you think that's going to impact you when you and Marcus have kids?
Yes. Undoubtedly. It will.
With just like y'all's, the contrast between the two?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because my family's like, granted though, on my mom's side of the family, all that I have left here in Chicago is my Nana. That is it.
Oh, Nana.
The rest of my mom's side of the family lives in Mississippi. Like the immediate closer
Would
family.
you ever consider moving to Mississippi?
No, never. You could not pay me money to move there. I grew up going to Mississippi during the summers. No.
Do you still go visit?
I don't go as much as I want to, but I'm going to start going again. I think that the only thing that disconnected me and made me stop was when I went to college and I didn't have the summers to go. But when I was younger, like in high school and elementary school, I would go so much more often.
Let's take a trip to Mississippi.
We could go to Jackson, Mississippi.
Vlog all of it. Let's explore Kayla's mom's side.
Now, I do have my family in Mississippi. They're kind of like little high status.
Really?
Yeah, because of my aunt. My aunt is the past president of Tougaloo College, which is a very big deal in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Everybody knows my auntie down there.
Okay.
And then I had another aunt that's now passed on that a lot of people knew, and I have family in politics in Mississippi. So they're very affluent, but I just have
Black people.
I have no desire to move to Jackson. No. Like every time I go down there, I'd be like, how do y'all live here? I be looking at my cousins. Why do y'all live here? They like, we love Jackson. I'm like, yeah, I bet y'all do.
It's the accent. We love Jackson.
We love Jackson, Mississippi.
I'm so dead.
No, thank you. But yeah,
we should go visit Kayla and do a whole vlog on exploring your
We could definitely go. We could drive to Mississippi.
Yeah, honestly.
That's what we used to do. Me and my family, we would drive there. You did the drive to Atlanta.
That's like let's do.
That's like the same drive. We could go this summer. Yeah. My family would be more than happy to host all of us.
Can we go for real?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, they would be so happy and they will take us all in.
Can we actually do it though? Because you know how we say we're going to do stuff, but we don't never do it.
We can really do it, especially because this is going to be like, we going to hop in the car and we just go.
Just go.
Yeah, hop in the car, go. We don't have to pay to stay anywhere.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot as hell.
They got pools?
No.
What do you mean they ain't got no pools? They ain't got no pools?
Not at their houses, at least. I mean, we can find a pool.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
I'll ask Bam Bam. So this is a fun fact.
Who is Bam Bam?
Bam Bam is my cousin. And guess what my nickname is in Mississippi? They'll all call me. When they come for the wedding, you're going to hear them all call me
You know what? I love hearing people when they get around like family, old friends and stuff because everyone has a nickname that like new people don't know about. Mm-hmm. So what is it?
Pebbles. From the Flintstones.
That's so
Bam Bam and Pebbles, because growing up we were like this. And so all of my Mississippi cousins call me Pebbles.
Okay,
still
Pebbles.
to this day. So it's gonna be really funny when they come. But you might be able to see them before then if we go during the summer. Marcus has never even been to Mississippi to meet all of my family.
Let's all go.
We can all go.
Let's all go.
They'll be more than happy to host us.
I declare it.
Yeah.
So it shall be.
It shall be. It shall be.
So I have a question. I'm wondering how, you would give advice to people who maybe don't have a stepmother. Maybe they do have a stepmother, but they have a mother figure that is not their birth mother, and how they should navigate this holiday because, there can be awkwardness. I know for my stepmom, she was in my life since I was 7, 6. We have a very close relationship, but I always knew even growing up that there was a boundary that wasn't my mom. And I was still close with my mom and I didn't want to offend her while honoring someone else who plays as a mother figure in my life. So how do you feel like it's nuanced to celebrate this day if you have multiple people that you can lean on as a mother?
I think it can be. I know, like, growing up, I realized I learned pretty quickly with Kim, the woman who raised me for the other half of my life. Like, it wasn't just like I wanted to celebrate Mother's Day with her, but she was uncomfortable with it because she wanted to hold space for my mom. So I feel like it's a two-way street. But, I mean, I always just think it's important to hold space for your mom in general, like your mom.
Yeah. I think that it can be really difficult, and I found it to be super hard as I was talking about because I didn't want to offend my mother or feel like I was dishonoring her or replacing her in her passing. And so it made it really hard for me to find the way and the space to honor my stepmom. But also, it's important for me to honor her because my stepmom doesn't have any other kids. And so So she has dedicated so much of herself in her
didn't know
life.
that.
Yeah, she doesn't have any kids. So
Okay.
I'm literally the only one. And so I want to make sure that she feels appreciated because I know that she put so much into raising me and it just looked different. And I think that it's important that, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like a journey that you have to go through individually and finding the
time.
best way, because if you do have a situation that is kind of uneasy with honoring mom versus stepmom or whoever the motherly figure is, it's going to take some time for you to like deal with yourself and grapple with like, how do I basically split this energy and not feel like I'm neglecting one over the other.
Yeah.
Like, how does this happen?
It's a little journey.
I guess I have a question. This just came to my mind, so we might edit this out. But we have a mother in the room.
Yes.
And I'm curious. I know that you have a little baby. He's young.
My little guy baby.
But can you imagine him celebrating in the future another stepmother on Mother's Day?
Ooh.
She said, ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good
a
one.
great question, Ariel. I think I can say the space that I'm in now, I can say that I'm more accepting of it. I can literally say probably 3 months ago, I'll be like, no, absolutely not. And maybe not even 3 months, 6 months ago, but I feel like I've gotten to the space now where I have to, like, I've been grieving the end of the relationship with my son's father, and knowing what that comes with ultimately is knowing that, I do want him to find love again. I want him to be happy. And I know that that's going to come with another person that I know that I would hope he will pick a good person that would be another mother figure in my son's life. I think it's hard to say right now that I can imagine it in terms of like me being like, oh yeah, it's fine. Mm-hmm. I can say that right now until I'm actually sitting in it. But I can't say it probably would be hard, because I think my biggest fear in that situation would be like, what if he likes her over me? Or what if he prefers her over me? Or like, you just have these thoughts as a mother. And like, even what my mom told me yesterday, as a good parent, someone who truly, genuinely cares about their parenthood, they think about things like that. They think about how it's going to affect your child and how it's affecting you, because ultimately you want to be the best and you want to be that example. And so I think that's the fear that comes with it. But ultimately, I try to remind myself at the end of the day that I'm always going to be his number one. And like, me and him have a bond and a relationship it's just irreplaceable. Like, and I see it now. He's only about to be 3. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like as he gets older. So just trying to remember that even if he does and when he does, because I know it's going to happen, like I'm literally preparing myself for that to happen one day, I will be accepting of it. Yeah. And I will know that love, like you don't have to limit your love to just me. Mm-hmm. Like the love can go elsewhere, but it doesn't change the love that we have. It doesn't change our relationship. It's just our relationship, and it's something that it's, what's that phrase? What's not explained gotta be explained, whatever that is.
What's understood.
What's understood and gotta be explained.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be different if he were a daughter instead of a son?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like no, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's still like your child. It's just your child. Like, I don't look at it as like, if it's a girl or a boy, I just think at the end of the day, that's my child. That's my seed. Mm-hmm. That's like, I birthed that thing. But yeah, I don't think it would be different. But once again, I'm that type of person where I can say one thing, but I'm not going to finalize my opinion on it until I'm actually sitting in it. So
I will say, though, when it comes to the blended family thing, it is something that can be very beautiful if it is done the right way.
If you find your balance.
Yeah. And I've been really thinking about this as I've been planning the wedding, and I've realized how much family I have. And I'm just like, it's so much family that I can't invite everybody.
Yeah.
Because the list could literally go on forever, because my support system, my community is never ending.
Yeah.
And it's because of the fact that I have a blended family. Like there's going to be people there from my stepmom's family who now want to celebrate me and pour into me, on top of the huge family I have on my mom's side, which is my Nana and my Papa's family combined. They both have like 9 brothers and sisters, and plus my dad's side of the family. So it's just, when that time comes, especially like for you, Ajah, when that happens, like I just pray and wish that it's going to be beautiful. Like Caleb is one of the happiest kids that I've ever seen in life. Like he has such an infectious energy, and I think that he is the most deserving of an abundance of love from every which way. Like when he has like a stepfather in the future, plus his father and his stepmother, just think about, it's an abundance. Like it's not the situation that most people dream of, but it is a situation where it's like when life gives you lemons, you can make lemonade and it can be good. So I wished for my family that they would have done it right.
Yeah.
They didn't do it right necessarily, but I got all this love from it.
Yeah.
But I've seen it done right in other people's families. And I'm just like, wow, that's so beautiful that you all can all coexist together like that.
Yeah. And I think that's all I wish for. Like, I love that perspective of looking at it as abundance. Because, like, yes, you can get that from your just 2-parent household. But, like you said, when you can't control certain things that happen, you can still create beauty out of that. And so I pray on that all the time. Like, literally, that's one of my prayers, is just that Caleb is continuously being surrounded by pure love, whoever it comes from, wherever it comes from, and just reminding myself, like, a part of that is my responsibility too. Because a lot of times I think parents put their own feelings and emotions over the child. And I've been very adamant of not doing that.
Yeah.
Because yes, my feelings matter, but the outcome of the situation is going to have the bigger impact on him.
Yeah.
And so, and I said 3 to 6 months, and that was inaccurate. It's been a whole year already. It's crazy. Like, time flies and you think it was just 6 months ago, but I've been like, so it's been a full year already. And, you know, that has been my continuous healing and work journey on my end, and making sure that me and his dad, it's love. Like, at the end of the day, we showing love, and that's it. That's all Caleb needs to know. That's all Caleb needs to see. And it is what it is. And bleep. And he, I love that we're on the same page. I love that we both want Caleb to keep that energy, because everyone sees it. Like, everyone sees it. Anytime we're out in public, I just get that same compliment. And it's kind of like confirmation of me, like, I have to remember that at the end of the day. And it can take one wrong thing on my end, and I know I'm not going to be perfect. I know he ain't going to be perfect. But it can take that one thing and just ruin it. Yeah. And I want to do my best to not do that.
You're being intentional. So
yeah, being intentional. Yeah.
What have you feel like you have learned and gained the most from being a mom? What has it taught you?
Definitely. I told you a long time ago, the first thing motherhood has taught me was patience.
I knew you were going to say that.
Man, and it's because I used to pride myself on being a patient person. Like, I was patient with everybody in my life. I was just such a patient person with people. And then I realized, becoming a mother, that you know, this being is living and they don't know what's going on. They literally don't know what's going on. They're trying to figure it out.
From a can of paint, they don't know.
They don't know
That's
nothing.
another level of
They
patience.
just bebopping
Like,
around
it
the
is
world.
really-
Though is like the main thing and that's why I question whether I want kids or not, because I don't know if I have that level of patience.
But it's a beautiful type of like challenge of patience. It kind of just helps me in every other area of my life because it honestly makes me look in the mirror of where I am lacking patience in other areas. And it really put the mirror on me of like, you don't have patience with yourself. And I think that when we can have so much patience and we can pour into other people, like we talk about that all the time, like we can do all these things for other people, but when we look in the mirror, it's like, girl, you ain't giving it to yourself. And like, so it really makes me look at patience as really a beautiful thing. And I feel like that's been one of the most important things it's taught me is patience. But I think also it's been teaching me like to release control.
because you have no choice.
This past year and a half, I would say, has been a complete surrender. And I didn't realize that I kind of was holding on to some form of control being a parent. Like even down to how everything panned out and the certain decisions and stuff. I was just like, you know what? No matter how hard you try to be the best parent, you can't control everything that happens. Even when you think you're doing everything right, something's gonna happen. Or even just knowing that this human is literally his own being and he may not comprehend what I think I'm doing right. He may look at it completely different, like, no, that's wrong. And I have to release control of that because I have to consider him and his feelings. I have to consider that he is his own being. And I never want to have that attachment to him in that way where it's like, you got to do it this way. Like, well,
Like a possessiveness.
Like, no, like I'm literally just your vessel. I'm your guide and I'm going to support you through whenever you need me. But it's really been showing me to like fully release control and even down to learning his personality and learning my child every single day. I'm like, wow, you're constantly changing. Like, I can't have, there's literally no control for me to have there.
I think the more that parents attempt to control, the more that they find that they are the ones that are hurting their children in the process, because it is that entitlement to that person, to that child, that almost creates that hurt that a lot of us, and I think our generation, we're trying to heal from things that our parents did because of that wanting to control the every step, the every movement, you know. That's where the hurt comes from. Like, the hurt doesn't come from support. The hurt doesn't come from falling down on your face when something in life happens.
A natural consequence happens.
You want to come back home and know that you have the support system from your family, from your parents, from your mother, you know? So I think that that's something super important that you're doing, Asia, that is hard to do because quite naturally, because of your relationship of wanting to keep this child safe, you want to control everything that is going on in their lives. So it's literally fighting against your instinct almost to be able to surrender that and allow him to grow up knowing that he has a supportive mother in his corner and not somebody that has him on puppet strings. Like, those are two different experiences.
Yeah, because I would say, like, my mom was not controlled. Like, she allowed, like, I just had this conversation with her yesterday. Like, my mom has always been a supportive mother. Like, whatever I wanted to do, she was down to ride. But she also was that mother, like, she supported where she didn't allow me to quit because she was telling me, like, you know, you want to let your children make the decisions, but you also don't want to let them give up. You also don't want to let them do something that they'll regret later. And even sometimes it's going to happen. Like, sometimes it does happen, but for the most part, it just made me look inside, like, where did that controllingness come from? Because I didn't get that from my mom. My mom has always been that supportive mother figure. And what I realized is mine came from the fear of I think just as being a young mom,
Yeah.
like I'm still learning life. I'm still navigating life. I'm still like, I'm young. Like I'm not even 30 yet. Like,
Yeah.
so we don't have it all together. And I'm going to learn so much. And they always say that first child, like when people have second kids, third kids, they do better. Or they, they say that you
It's
should.
practice.
Because it's
like
practice.
You learn.
This is my first child. I don't know what I'm doing, but we
Making it
we
through.
making it through. But just like you said, being intentional about it. And at the end of the day, like I said, just releasing control, because I don't ever want him to feel like that I'm in control of his life, because I don't have that control.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's so
I
crazy
don't want
because as I think about now going into marriage, obviously I think about having children more, and what Marcus and I talk about all the time, what our parenting is going to look like. And that fine line between like being supportive and then also guiding them. And I always talk about the one thing about my mom that I loved as a child, but now that I have a more holistic view, that I think has hindered me in a small way. It's just that she was so loving. Like, I mean, to the point of like, I could do no wrong. Like, I could do anything. And when she would try to discipline me, it was like a friend. We would sit there. She'd be like, don't do da. And I'd be like, and then we'll start laughing together. Like, I'm like, okay, wait a second. So, but I was just telling Marcus that ability of like, I felt like I always, in my adult life, I have been trying to heal from wanting to be babied by people. But it was because I was so babied and nurtured and catered to so much by my mom, which was positive, but too much of anything is bad.
Yeah.
And so I like finding that fine line between that unwavering support and then also the like, you're not about to play me. I don't want to have to call my children's father for them to get it. I want you to see me and know I mean business too. What's up? I'm here too. So it's just so interesting. It's such an interesting dynamic. But like you said, we don't know until you just go through it and you literally do it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's with anything. You, again, experience the extremes to find the balance. It's like, oh, maybe that was too far. Oh, maybe that wasn't enough.
yeah,
To find the balance.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Life.
Wow. Well, thanks, Asia,
Of
for sharing your
course.
thoughts.
Thank you
on
for having me,
motherhood.
ladies.
She's a mother.
I love that. Okay.
So, any advice for those that are processing through indifferent feelings of Mother's Day?
Oh, am I supposed to be like, was there advice to give?
Do you have any?
I mean, I just don't care. It's just like, I don't know. Am I supposed to have
So
advice?
Iyanna's advice is just simply do not care.
Well, it's an individual thing. Some people it does. Like if my godmom, my mom, if she felt some type of way, or if she was hurt by the fact that I didn't celebrate Mother's Day, then I would celebrate Mother's Day.
Right.
But the fact that like, I mean,
Nobody cares.
I
It's
have
just like,
I have the room to not care.
Yeah.
My mom, I mean, my bio mom doesn't care either. Like she probably forgot it's Mother's Day in a couple. She ain't go, and she's not gonna remember until 2 months from now. And she called me, you didn't tell me Happy Mother's Day, Mom. You didn't even tell me Happy Birthday.
Right.
Like,
come on now.
come on now, be real. Yeah, but it's like I have the room to not care.
Yeah. Well, for me, I don't really have much space to not care because everybody cares about Mother's Day.
Everyone's like, so you celebrating or not?
Kayla, do you feel as though as an adult you can set boundaries for your family, since you're saying that Mother's Day is tough for you and you don't really have the capacity?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you're able to prioritize yourself so you can heal or take the time that you need?
It's hard
I understand.
Is it hard because of them or because of you?
because of them. It's not me. It's not a me thing. If it was me,
I mean, but it is essentially a you thing.
It's me because I care about how they feel.
But why do you feel like you're putting their feelings and their
yours.
needs before yours?
Because that's been my whole life. It's just what I'm accustomed to. It's
But
like
is that-
But Kayla,
yeah.
how old are we now?
I know. But okay, so let me explain why it's hard. I have people in my life that are motherly figures to me that I genuinely do care about, and they deserve to be celebrated.
I agree.
So I am constantly in the indifference of how to honor them in the way that they want to be honored, and then also honor my own feelings of
Have
what
you
I've
ever
gone through.
actually tried like actionable things though to do both, or have you always just like internally dealt with your own feelings and then just gone with what they wanted to do too?
A little bit of both. I've tried to express to them previously. I feel like every year I try to express the difficulties. And it's not this expectation coming from like my Nana. She doesn't care. She's like, girl, I don't.
Yeah.
She doesn't do commercial holidays anyway.
Look,
So
same
she
like
does
me.
not care.
It's like me.
But when it comes to my dad's side of the family, they feel very different about that. And they are very like by the book when it comes to holidays. And it's been ingrained in me, you know, like this has been my entire life. It's been embedded.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to recode and then also get people to understand and accept.
Okay,
and
may I
be
interrupt right there?
Huh?
I think that what's important is that you don't have to get them to understand and accept it. If it's something that you're saying is your boundary, then it's your boundary.
I agree.
And if you're the villain that year, and I know, but I'm just saying, if
But
you're,
then that makes it, I think the part that's hard about that is then it makes it even heavier.
Well,
Because now I'm dealing with the feelings of Mother's Day already being difficult, and then the feelings of being the villain. So, and being a people pleaser, that is something I'm still coping with. It's really hard. So I've tried to test the waters, and every year I get a bite back. And so this is just something I'm still working on, mustering up the full strength.
I say this is the year you make it happen.
Oh, God.
You can, if you want to buy a bouquet of flowers for the women in your family that, you know, you're not going to be there, you're not going to be present, but you want to send them something ahead of time or drop it off the day before, or however you so choose to honor them. But you say, I'm getting married. I just graduated from my master's program, and this is all around Mother's Day, and I'm still missing a piece of my heart and my mom's birthday. So if there's ever a time where I just need to kind of sit and tap in with myself, thank you all. We've all celebrated. I'm loved, and I love you all. But just setting that boundary and trusting yourself, and if you are the villain, accepting that and being okay with it, because you know that you're not doing it to hurt anyone's feelings. You're not doing it so anyone will feel slighted. If you celebrated for the past 27 years this way, they should understand that at this point, I'm overwhelmed. And in all aspects of your life, you feel overwhelmed. And you can't keep showing up for other people, as we've said before, if you're not showing up for yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't be bullied just because they're family.
I get bullied every year.
But just because they're family, you have to kind of set
to me
because you can't teach that to your child either.
Yeah.
You have to,
and I wouldn't.
because then you would actually be the villain.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like it would be different.
No.
In my mind, personally, it feels like it would be different because when I have a family, I can set our norms and our standards.
but your family is going to step in and feel just as entitled to your kids and your family.
That's what I was about to say.
If not times 10.
You're gonna be the
If
villain.
not times
regardless.
10. So that's why I'm just saying, like, as you step into this new phase of life, as being a wife, being a mastered, whatever, professional, you know, as a grown woman, you have to have that courage and be okay to be like, I said no, and this is why. Thank you. Please respect my wishes. If not, UPS it and I'll get it in 5 days, and then I'll respond with the fuck to give then. But you can't,
Period.
you know?
Period.
I have something to add because it's so crazy because today I was reading Tabitha Brown's book. I'm still reading it. And the chapter I read today, she talked about traditions and family. And she was talking about, and I pulled it up just so I could read a snippet of it. Wait a minute, girl. You are enough. You ain't got to do things the way you've always done them just to make other people feel comfortable. You don't have to try to fit in. No, ma'am. I'm going to do it my way, Tabitha's way. And just that specific phrase I like because it's kind of goes. Oh,
She set the
I'm
mic
all over the
down.
place today.
She meant to put her phone down, but put the mic down.
and it just makes me think about that courage that Ariel was talking about of just standing firm and what you feel is right, because that's what she says at the end. And she was like, I'm going to do what feels right to me. And I think it's important for you to do that. Like Ariel said, as you navigate this new space, like you're walking in complete newness in all areas.
Literally, everything is undergoing transformation right now.
And yes, and I know that you're still navigating like the people pleasing. Look, we the same person. I get it. But like now is our time to face the things that
walk into it.
And I think the only way for us to literally get over those things is to do it and to be uncomfortable. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna feel like you're the villain, but at the end of the day, your intentionality behind it, like she said, if you do bouquets or whatever it is that you choose to do to honor them, that's not gonna change. And I feel like at the end of the day, you setting that example is going to only set the tone for when you become a parent, and you'll be firmer on your boundaries and what that looks like, and not be heavily influenced by what has been tradition in your life.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm gonna try my hardest. I gotta pray on the strength.
I think that's where you have like Marcus. You know how Marcus is very like. So this is where
he's very what?
Well, maybe not with his family, but I feel like with other people he could be.
I'm the nuck if you buck. What are you talking about? I'm the. Do you want some?
He got that Aries energy though.
But it takes a lot more to get him to that space. I am.
What if you tell him like, I need support in this area. I need you to be my backbone.
He could tell his family that I won't be there, but I think that.
No, I mean giving you the support when you're trying to deal with your family. Maybe he can be in the background hyping you up. Yeah, girl, send that text message.
I mean, yeah, he can do that. But I think that this is one like my dragon to slay.
I mean, it is.
Over his.
I know, I agree.
So I think that he could back me up. I think that he can handle it. Yeah, he could back me up. But he's definitely not the.
Well, he can't do that. He can't do that anyways with his with your family. Like that's not. Okay.
But he will tell his family. Yeah. Because that's something I really do want to spend Mother's Day with my Nana and my aunt.
I think you should.
Because my aunt will be here. I just want to be with them all day, really, because I'll probably stay the night out there. We're going to celebrate with them after my graduation.
I think this year is an exceptional year. And I think this year calls for an exception within this day.
Yeah.
And what you want.
Yeah.
Especially,
I already got a little flack because I tried my hand at it a little bit when I was talking to my grandma the other day. She was like, well, you ain't going to be doing that at 10 o'clock in the morning for brunch. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to have to fight. It's not going to be like a...
word of the year, Kayla.
I know. Victory. I know it, but that's what I'm saying. It's just building up the courage, and also knowing that I don't have like a soft-mannered family where it's like, oh, you don't want to do it? Okay. So, but I just have to...
I need
the confidence because of the fact that I know I'm going to be the villain, and then I'm going to have to sit in those feelings along with the other feelings that I'm already processing through the reason why I don't want to do this stuff in the first place.
I think you should.
So it's just a lot.
Just pull the trigger and then try your best to put those feelings aside for that day. Just be fully immersed in that day, spending time with your Nana and with your aunt, and then deal with those after.
Yeah.
Because they're going to happen. I mean, especially with people pleasing. People pleasing is a hard thing to come out of. Because you always
you've been doing it for 27 years.
Exactly. Especially.
My whole life.
Yeah. So you're going to feel like the villain. And that's not going to feel great at all. Because that's the point of avoiding like that's why
just
you
the whole basis
pleasing.
of my family. Like the way that we do family on my dad's side of the family is very much so like, none of us feel like doing it, but we all gonna be here because that's what we supposed to do. So it's just the way of the family. So people will be there and they might be angry as hell because they might not want to be there. Yeah. But nobody says we're just not gonna do it. And it's not because they care. Like my dad wouldn't care. My stepmom wouldn't care. My uncle, my aunt, on that side of the family, none of them would care. It's because we have a matriarch of the family who cares the most. And she is an old lady and everybody wants to make her happy. And me not being there is going to disrupt her her happiness on her Mother's Day.
No.
So it is a lot for me to deal with, to know the joy that I'm going to steal from my grandmother.
But it's not stealing joy. It's not. It's going to disrupt
that's
it a little
not your
bit.
responsibility.
It's not. It's
And
not.
I think
I
that's
agree with
the
that.
part of you being an empath, and like I was just about to mention, like even as you navigate you doing these new things, hopefully, I'm gonna pray that you have the courage to walk. Remember, we talked about walking in victory is
Please,
sometimes you think it's gonna be a fight, and it's really just you showing up, and God's gonna give you the strength in that moment. And I really feel like that when you're in that space, because you're gonna feel the feelings of the other people, but whatever it is you need to do to separate those feelings in terms of like, these are my feelings and these are their feelings, and separating them, that way you know automatically how to navigate those emotions at that time.
Yeah.
That is really hard, separating like, this is what I feel, but this is what I feel because I feel that they're feeling this.
Yes.
It's really hard to do.
It's really hard.
It's like, I don't give a fuck, but I feel shame because they give a fuck.
Yeah, especially because of how she responded to me. Literally, that was yesterday when I talked to her and I said that, and she was like,
so now you know how.
and she's a Scorpio. We're both Scorpio. She was like, girl, you're not about to be doing that at 10 o'clock in the morning when we having brunch. So I'll see you there. That is the essence.
Actually, Grandma,
I won't be there for that.
I love you though. I'm sending flowers.
So yeah, we'll have an update next time. I mean, it'll be after Mother's Day, the day after Mother's Day when this episode comes out. So maybe I'll try to give a little update on my story and the fill in the blank story about what is actually happening. So let's pray over that. Amen. Dear God.
Let's hope we don't see a story. So I'm at 10 o'clock brunch.
Couldn't do it this year. Maybe next year. Let's try again, guys. So we'll see. But yeah. Any final thoughts on Mother's Day?
Nope.
Well, we're sending all of you all that are having difficult feelings as I.
Or who are mothers, like happy Mother's Day.
Yes,
everybody.
those of you who are mothers like Asia.
Happy Mother's Day.
We celebrate you and honor you.
She's
Being
a
a mother is literally being a superhuman.
Yes.
So,
I don't know how y'all do it.
Yes. So we are sending you all the biggest happy Mother's Day out there. We hope that you all enjoyed your Mother's Day and had the best time with celebrating with your kiddos and your family.
I love that.
But that's all. So you can follow us on the TikTok, the Tic Tac,
The tic-tac-toe.
Tic-Tac-Toe
On the clock.
on Kesha. What? She coined it. TikTok on the clock. Okay. Anyways. Fill in the blank _ on TikTok. No?
Fill in the blank pod.
Fill in the blank pod. That's so right, because fill in blank _ is on Instagram. Okay. On TikTok, we are fill in the blank pod. On YouTube, you can find Fill in the Blank Podcast. And if you don't know by now, it's feel as in touch, not feel like right. So yeah, you can find us on YouTube at Fill in the Blank Podcast. You can find me on Instagram. Oh wait, you can find us on Instagram. This is a real Monday. You can find us on Instagram at Fill in the Blank _. Me at As Told by Kayla and Iyanna at
Iyanna.amore.
We have somehow made it through this episode. Praise God. God bless you, your family. Happy Mother's Day. We love y'all. And we see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.